New fallout today after news that the former top lawyer at the FBI, James Baker, has been under federal investigation now for months. It came to light in a letter from Republican Congressman Marc Meadows and Jim Jordan on America's Newsroom last hour.
We don't know for sure with Baker, but it seems to be about leaking information to the press. That's why we sent the letter to the U.S. Attorney in Connecticut, John Durham, to find out more about why, in fact, is the former chief counsel at the Federal Bureau of Investigation under investigation. What exactly is going on here? We think we need to know that information.
Joining us now, Marc Thiessen, columnist at the Washington Post, Fox News contributor, and a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Marc, good morning to you. So federal investigation for leaking to the media. As we learn more, what do you expect this will uncover?
We really don't know. We don't know what it's about. It was inadvertently revealed to Congress because Baker was testifying in October, and he was asked about his contacts with the media, and his lawyer interrupted and said, I'm not going to allow him to answer questions about that. And the congressman asked him why, and they said, well, because he's under criminal investigation for leaking to the press. So this is the only reason that Congress knows that the top lawyer at the FBI, who is involved in all of these investigations, is under criminal investigation by the U.S. Attorney for the state of Connecticut. So we don't know what it's about. Catherine Herridge has reported that the investigation began during the Obama administration, so it's not necessarily part of the Mueller probe, but it could be related to something related to the 2016 election investigations, which he was deeply involved in. And he was also directly involved, according to the New York Times leak this week, in the decision to open a counterintelligence investigation into whether Donald Trump was a Russian asset. So there's a lot of things this could be related to. So we just don't know the answer yet.
In this Jim Jordan, Marc Meadows letter to the U.S. Attorney on Baker's role in the FBI obtaining the Steele dossier, they write, quote, the committees learned that in some instances, high-ranking DOJ and FBI officials, including the FBI General Counsel James Baker and DOJ Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, took the self-described unusual step of inserting themselves into the evidentiary chain of custody. And Fox providing some context on that. The documents reviewed by Fox indicate that Bruce Orr became the back channel between Christopher Steele and the FBI after Steele was fired from the Bureau for lying about his contact with the media. Put all of this in perspective. Tell us what we need to take away from this, Marc.
Well, first of all, in addition to the criminal investigation of Baker, there are a number of other investigations taking place. So there is the department. We learned recently that the Department of Justice Inspector General has opened an internal investigation into possible abuses by both DOJ and the FBI related to the FISA requests related to the Trump dossier, which could implicate Bruce Orr as well as Baker and other people who are involved in those. We also know, for example, that James Comey is under investigation, or was reported last year to be under investigation for classification issues related to his release of his memos on his conversations with Donald Trump. We know that Deputy Director Andrew McCabe is under criminal investigation for leaking. We know that Peter Strzok was fired after an internal investigation found that he had violated FBI protocol for his anti-Trump tweets. So there are a lot of investigators getting investigated, and that's just a problem because we need to have trust in the FBI. The FBI plays a critical role in safeguarding our democracy. And when you have so many members of the senior leadership of the FBI under investigation for possible ethical misconduct, or even in some cases like this, criminal violations, it really undermines the public trust in the FBI at a time when we need it most.
So obviously pointing out the fact that this is just the latest confirmation that we've received that there's this leak investigation involving FBI figures that have since left the Bureau. And of course, you're referencing Peter Strzok there, that the president also recently referenced along with Lisa Page in a tweet. So trying to keep track of it all. But this is something we continue to learn. Having Jim Jordan on earlier obviously added to this story. So thank you very much, Marc Thiessen. Good to have you on this morning.
Thanks, Sandra.
All right.
About 21 past the hour now. British Prime Minister Theresa